With summer kicking into high gear, it's time to start planning some road trips. And while lots of items are on the checklist, remember to add a trip to Goodyear.com to the itinerary. When it comes to choosing tires, let Goodyear.com help you choose what's best. Goodyear, more driven.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the deck. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me a boom.
He's Jalen versus everybody.
What up, yo?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
Together, we are the duo that is named
Center
Jalen
stage
and
on
Jacoby.
the mic.
And we putting it on wax. It's the new style.
Second time in a row you did it.
What do we do?
We're gonna be live! What they want.
Jalen Rose, I messed up the intro. I feel bad about it. We got a very special show. We've got some interesting news about Greg Popovich.
You don't care.
There's this thing about the Lakers. I'm upset about it. We're going to talk about it later. And we have a very special Keep It Moving. But before we get to that, we have to bless our podcast listeners, our favorite consumers of all J&J content. Our podcast listeners, you are my people. People ask me that don't listen to the pod, they say, is your podcast, is it just the television version, just stripped down and put on the pod? And
Hold on, hit the brakes. So, I have two comments.
Okay, you seem upset about this.
One, you want the good news or the bad news?
I want the good news first. Let's keep
All
it
right.
positive.
Okay. The good news is we've been doing this for 7 years to the point that people recognize the television show and don't understand we have a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can always tell people that come up to me that say, like, oh, I love the show or I love the podcast. It's about 50-50.
Now, do you want the bad news?
Yeah.
I believe you just lied to the people.
I didn't just lie to the people. I forget who it was, but someone asked me that last week. Someone asked me.
One person ever?
One person asked me that.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, hey, no, someone else asked me that too. I think Rachel Nichols and I had a conversation about it.
Don't try to name drop.
I mean, I can drop
I'm trying to get out of this.
Yeah. I'm trying to get out of this. Someone asked me last week, they're like, do you just do the TV audio as the podcast? And we say, no, that would be cheating the people. That is not giving the people what they want. And I always like the idea that the people listening to the podcast, the real heads, the real J&J consumers, especially ones that listen at work, get a little something extra. And they always get the kind of risky topics that we can't put in front of the executives.
True story.
I got an update on Stephen A.
You did.
I got an update on Stephen A. This is one of my favorite stories. This is easily my favorite story of the week. The Stephen A. the bottom feeder is, he was just being honest. You know what I mean? But here's what he said on his radio show. He had to address it. He apologized on his radio show for his employers and putting them in a bad spot. And this is my favorite part. After he apologized, he said, I've been answering that question the same way for 25 years. If I had my soundboard, I would give him an applause right now. Reggie, give him an applause. Here's why I love this. Is because he apologized, but then it's always nice when you apologize and then you double down.
Well, here's what I just want to make sure. That he understands the meaning of all of the terms involved.
I don't think he does, to be honest with you. I don't think he does.
Because 25 years, that's a real sample size.
That is. Someone would have noticed. He's like, I've been answering that the same way for 25 years.
I'm a bottom feeder.
Okay.
I mean, we all know that.
Bottoms up.
All right.
I've never heard Snoop with the bottoms up either. Snoop's quick on his feet for someone that smokes that much weed. Big shout to Stephen A. He just became even more of a hero in my mind this week. More of a hero. He's one of the best to ever speak into a microphone. Update. Ben Simmons was dating Kendall Jenner. Kendall Jenner then made out with the younger Hadid brother. You don't know who the Hadids are, but just roll with it. And she was on wax doing this. Now Ben Simmons back with her. They went shopping together this week. Just casually dating young people? Or did he take her back?
Casually dating young people.
That's what I think too. He's like, we're all famous.
I know anyone that's ever heard me speak into a microphone thought I was going to go hard left when you asked me that question.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference to me in what she did is they still have a level of youth and innocence that they're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too much to figure out. He's probably sitting there going, I done made out with 5 chicks and just didn't get on TMZ, so it would be hypocritical of me to hate. And we have a good time together, why not? And they went shopping. Good for them. There was a news story that our producer, Han Elman, tried to put in the television show, but I just think it's fugazi. It is the...
You think it's what?
Fugazi.
Oh.
It is the report that the Warriors spent $900,000 on champagne in their celebrations. This is one of those things where it's like, do you think the Warriors don't have a champagne plug? Like, do you think they're paying nightclub prices for every bottle? They're not. They're not at all.
And also...
Probably donated, to be honest with you.
But here's the other thing, and this is probably why I ain't win a championship. I'm looking at the champagne they drink, and I'm like, they need to get more expensive bottles.
Another thing is, whenever I see someone chug champagne, like, I know how that feels. All those bubbles, like, it feels weird. It feels like you're going to puke. You got to burp right after. And whenever I see someone celebrating and chugging champagne, I immediately think you're going to regret that.
And that's me, too, as well. It's like, I'll do the champagne.
It's overrated,
the bubbles,
especially at the club. If I see you buying a bottle of champagne at the club, you're wasting your money. You are just wasting your money. It's also
a lot
kind
of sugar,
dainty.
a lot of bubble.
Dainty. Gives you a hangover.
Yes.
It's fun. And for a celebration, I like the novelty of it for a celebration. Like, we've got a bottle of champagne in the fridge. We move to the new place. We have a glass of champagne. But it's more of a show. It's not like, oh, I actually enjoy drinking this beverage. I'll have a little bit at lunch on vacation. You know, a little mimosa. But no, you miss me with the champagne. As always, you can call 985-80-JALEN and leave us voicemails. We requested that the people help us out with Cultural Regional. That's our new segment. Jalen Rose is so happy about it.
I'm so excited.
Segments, you know,
and I just can't hide.
Just to let everybody behind the curtain. You can take people behind the curtain in the NBA. I can take people behind the curtain in sports television production. You got to have a lot of bad ideas. They're not all hits. You got to get in the studio and just lay some stuff down before you find a hit. This one, I think, is a hit. I think this is a hit.
This is a hit. Soft move or boss move, that's a hit.
Keep It Moving's a hit.
Keep It Moving's a hit.
Cultural Regional has a lot of legs.
That's going to be a hit, too.
We've been working on Cultural Regional, and one thing that we've learned is food and clothes and words are easy to come by, and those are always welcome. But we want our people to tweet at us and send us voicemails at 985-80-JALEN to try to get outside the box.
Say that again.
Food and clothes and slang.
Yep.
Those are easy.
Clothes and slang.
That's easy.
We can come up with those on our own.
It's like mud flaps on a tire, Cultural or Regional. You know, something like that. And I just came with that off the top of my head.
But if you got some real good ones in any silo, please share them.
Send them on. So Reggie said we had a couple regional or cultural voicemails, so let's listen to one of those.
First of all, I got to say shout out Reg. You know, that's the only way to get on the show nowadays. But anyways, I need a regional or cultural move. I just relocated to Phoenix a few months ago, so similar to Jalen Rose, I'm from the D313. What up, though? And I got a question. Hiking. Is it regional or cultural? Jalen, do you own hiking boots? Holla at your boy.
Ooh.
This is a really good one. I got an answer.
Cultural.
It's cultural.
It's cultural.
This
and again, when we say that, we're not going to act like people of color have never hiked before. Don't tweet us and say, hey, you know, these people are coming. Here's the thing, Jalen. It's cultural.
It's cultural.
Hiking is a culture.
Hiking is cultural. No question about it. Not that plenty don't do it. I'm just saying the 90-10 ratio applies.
Have you ever hiked in your life?
I have hiked before.
Really? Let me guess. You had a female companion.
In L.A.
Real? Runyon Canyon? That doesn't count.
Runyon Canyon.
That doesn't count. That's not a hike.
Okay.
That's a hill. That's not a hike. I'm talking about like pack a lunch,
no,
5 hours, like spend the
no,
whole day, get to the top of the mountain, take a picture.
No.
I've seen.
We got another franchise hit too. Yep and no. E40, that's a hit too. Please continue.
Yep. Shout out to 40 Fonzarelli.
Shout out.
Hiking, cultural.
No question.
And we're not sitting here saying that no person of color has ever hiked before.
Reggie talking in my ear saying
I know,
a paragraph.
Reggie gets so upset.
And then Harlan, I'm glad I don't have 2 earpieces. I done did this show for 6.5 years. That's the first time they both even talked to me. The second time at the same time.
I think they just miss us because we're in New York and they're in L.A. Big shout out to everybody in Los Angeles. Nate, Tanner, Alex.
We got the best crew in the business.
Harlan,
we're changing the game.
Reggie.
Show by show.
Let's listen to another voicemail.
Jalen and Jacoby, what up, though? Shout out Reg, shout out the whole crew. Reg, you got to put me on. I haven't been put on since my voicemail was played on Halloween last year, so this has to get put on the show, especially since it is a cultural or regional question. Baked macaroni and cheese. Is it cultural, regional, or both? Did I say regional in the first part of that statement? I'm not sure, but baked macaroni and cheese, cultural, regional, or both? Let me know, guys. Keep getting them checks. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for the call. We appreciate the love. You know, there's no support like the support of our podcast listeners. You've been with us since day one. We pride ourselves on giving you boutique level information that you won't necessarily hear throughout the industry. Yep. That caller in particular, he just left off one word, medicinal. He got to just... Because he forgot his question. You know?
He did. I was wondering, I was like, when is he going to get to the thing?
He didn't know if he wanted to ask a question or answer it, and at the end he didn't know which one he did.
Did I say regional? I forgot.
So he forgot one word.
I love that caller. Shout out to him. Hasn't been out since Halloween. Shout out.
Baked macaroni. Is it cultural or regional?
Neither.
I don't know if that qualifies.
Universal. Yeah. Cultural, regional, medicinal, or universal. That's universal.
Yeah.
Everybody loves baked macaroni.
Yeah, you gotta. So this is what makes this a hit. So this is what makes cultural or regional a hit, because you gotta distinguish the two. Like just saying shoes, that's universal.
That's universal.
You know what I mean?
would say this though. I've had a lot of baked macaronis in my day. And the people that made these baked macaronis have looked all shades of the human beings coming. But the best baked macaroni.
I know where you're going with this.
Is from my wife and her mom. The best baked macaroni and cheese you'll find at some barbecues and you won't find at others.
No question.
Let's just say that. We call it crack and cheese in my house. That's how good it is.
I've eaten it.
One time I woke up in the middle of the night, went to the fridge and ate some, and just went right back to bed because I knew it was in there. Let's get the people some
Summer road trip season is about to begin, and among the many ideas of where to go, you know you want to catch your favorite baseball team away from home. While the Lucky Cap, well-worn t-shirt, and road snacks make the checklist, don't overlook the most important part of your trip, your tires. That's why you need to add a trip to Goodyear.com to the list. Goodyear strives to make tires that go further, longer, and bring you what's necessary to get the most out of your driving experience. So when it comes to choosing tires, choose right at Goodyear.com. Goodyear, more driven.
Well, there is a report about the future of the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, and he may be closer to retirement than expected. Here is what the report says, quote, "Few in his orbit expect Popovich to coach the Spurs beyond the 2020 Summer Olympics. And there's always the possibility that he could spend the 1920 season traveling the NBA and globe preparing for his national team duties." That was reported by Woj Bombs.
Shout out.
This is interesting to me, and this is relevant. There's obviously an impending meeting between Kawhi Leonard and Greg Popovich. And now that we have this report from Woj, this isn't, from like some little corner of the internet. This is from the Woj. Do you think this will affect whether or not Kawhi Leonard is interested in staying with the San Antonio Spurs?
Everything is going to have a cause and effect. I mean, he's making a decision on his basketball career. Here's a guy that's been a champion, a finals MVP, only played 9 games this year, felt like he was misdiagnosed by the team, wasn't necessarily seeing eye to eye, wasn't as present as you would have hoped he would have been, in particular to watch his team play in the playoffs. So they have some repairing to do to the relationship, regardless of whether that happens this offseason and or in the future, because they have a legacy at play. That Spurs organization has done a lot for Kawhi.
When is this meeting going to happen? Like, if I'm the Spurs, I'm having this meeting as soon as possible. Like, what else are the Spurs and Kawhi Leonard doing that's more important than having this meeting?
And for Pop, respectfully, he's been doing this 2 decades. He's been the leader of what's happened over there. A 5-time champion, helped nurture Kawhi into the player he is. Dealt with the tragedy of losing his wife throughout these playoffs. He, of course, is not going to do it every year. But we have to trust that the San Antonio Spurs will have a plan in effect for him deciding to leave. It's not going to just be like, he walks away and they're surprised. So if you're Kawhi, you're asking about Pop, true enough. But you're trusting in the Spurs that whoever they're grooming to be next in line is going to be somebody that you support.
Do you think that this gets brought up at this meeting?
Of course it does.
Is there wine at this meeting? Because we know that Popovich loves his vino.
There won't be wine at this meeting.
There won't be wine at this one. Too important?
Yeah, there won't be wine.
Not a ceremonial glass?
No.
Oh, this is like in an office?
Yes.
Like, would you like a glass of water, Mr. Leonard?
Yes. There's going to be one of these long tables with like 8 people sitting in the room. Everybody got water and tea.
There'll be an
and
agenda.
People getting up, getting coffee.
Snacks.
It's going to be like that.
It's not going to be wine. It's not going to be Mark Cuban at the club.
No.
None of that?
No.
Do you think Kawhi re-signs with the Spurs?
I hope so, but I don't think so.
Interesting. Well, guess what?
I hope so.
We just might happen to have some unfounded, irresponsible speculation about pre-agent Kawhi Leonard.
Can I just say something about the term free agent real quick?
Stole it from Bill Simmons.
He's the podfather. He's the author of this show. We used that term 3 times and shouted them every time. But now it's like rap lyrics.
It's over.
They're in the atmosphere now.
Well, Woj also had some reports about Kawhi Leonard. He reported that the Celtics made a play for Kawhi at the trade deadline. They put a package out there. The package was not obviously rejected, but it was also not countered. So that happened. And there are reports that the 76ers and the Lakers are currently interested in putting together a package for Kawhi Leonard. When I just asked you if you think Kawhi is going to stay, you said you hoped he would. You don't think he will. Interesting. Why do you think he will leave, and where do you think he will end up?
Well, what's fascinating for me working in this industry is when I see that there are only 4 teams interested in Kawhi Leonard. You mean all teams?
It is one of those things. It's like he's one of the top 3. He's one of the top 3 players in the NBA.
So is
Let's not
Danny
forget.
Ainge the only person doing his job? And just saying, hey,
why not?
You want to trade Kawhi?
Look at Tatum.
I mean, hey,
we got 4 picks next year.
You know, so you mean to tell me that all of the other teams didn't do that? No, but in all honesty, like, in picking his next destination, there's going to be a lot at play because he doesn't truly control his destiny.
He is not a free agent,
correct,
as that graphic said. He's very much under contract to play with the Spurs this year.
And I do remember Paul George wanted to get moved to the Lakers. Paul George got moved to the Thunder. Mm-hmm. He started to like it being in OKC to the point, in my opinion, he's going to resign there. So now you do the same thing. If I'm a GM and I feel like I have a really good culture, 1 or 2 players that will mesh well with Kawhi, I would trade for him.
Of course.
No question about it.
Who wouldn't want Kawhi Leonard?
Without a promise of extension is the part I left off.
Oh.
Because Paul George didn't give that to OKC.
No, he didn't.
Which they could still lose him.
Of course. Now, here's a question. What team right now do you think that Kawhi Leonard could end up on? Was most likely?
It's really too hard to determine. It truly is. I'm just going to throw a wild card out there.
Please do.
New York Knicks.
Oh, the New York Knicks. Huh. You think Coach Fizz is going to draw some players to the Knickerbockers?
I do. And if you're the Spurs, you're not trading him in the West. You're going to help somebody build a super team. They way too smart for that. They ain't going to do what the Cleveland Cavaliers did and trade Kyrie to the Celtics. You're supposed to trade Kyrie to Siberia. You're supposed to trade him to Boston.
Well, we've got some more unfounded, irresponsible speculation. This is, of course, about the king, LeBron James. You mentioned Paul George a lot because people are talking about him and people are talking to him. He was playing Fortnite in a Pro-Am at E3. TMZ cameras caught up to him and did what TMZ does. They asked the questions that everybody wants the answers to. Let's see how he handled the inquiries.
Yeah, I'm with LeBron every All-Star.
Yeah, they've always been like,
Every one of my All-Stars, I've been teamed with LeBron.
And you guys seem to work well together, right? You guys play well together.
Yeah, I mean, we got a losing record, but I like playing with him.
You love playing with him?
Yeah, it was fun playing with LeBron All-Star Weekend.
So have you made up your mind for him?
I'm from LA.
You're from LA.
I can say I love LA because I'm from LA.
Okay. He loves playing with LeBron. He loves LA. He's definitely coming to the Lakers, right?
I got some sneaky big news that people slept on that took place a couple of days ago.
Okay, Mr. Rose.
You remember when the Golden State Warriors were drinking Henny and popping champagne?
Of course I do.
And enjoying what champions do that've won it 3 of the last 4 years.
Of course I do.
And KD was celebrating winning back-to-back MVPs.
I do remember that.
What was Russell Westbrook doing?
He was sneak dissing on social media.
And he was talking about going solo and those bozos. While everybody thinks it's a projection toward the Golden State Warriors, don't sleep. That's also a nudge
I like what
to
you're
Paul
doing.
George.
I like what you're doing
because
here.
you see how I handle that. And if you bounce on me, it's going to be me against the world.
Going solo.
And doing what I do. So for PG, this is obviously his decision to make. He's going to be paired with LeBron James all off season. And the funny thing about the national media in particular, we just want them to be in L.A. Why can't Paul George, if you want to play with LeBron, go to Cleveland?
Well, L.A. has 2 max spots available. It's the easiest path. I mean, they could just sign them both without trading, maybe putting together some package, having somebody take on Ryan Anderson or having to move this person to that person.
Let me teach you analytics geek something. Let me teach you individuals that work so very hard to cover basketball for a living something.
That doesn't seem like a compliment.
If those gentlemen wanted to play basketball on the same team, it's going to happen. So it don't matter who got 2 max spots. You find a way to make it work. Okay? So you mean to tell me if Kawhi Leonard or Paul George didn't want to go to Cleveland and LeBron was going to say they wouldn't make it work? Oh, they'll find a way to make it work. So with that being said, Paul George, I like how he answered the question. I do play with him a lot in all-star games.
Yep.
And by the way, he knew the team's record and he regurgitated the fact that
we lose. We lose when we play together. He did a good job where he answered the questions. He did it in a way that he knew was going to fuel speculation, but he didn't say anything out of pocket.
Correct.
He's like, I love L.A. I'm from L.A.
there.
Of course I'm going to say that.
And also, he's a public figure. He's an athlete. He has a shoe deal. He gets endorsements. It's in his best interest to have us wondering what he's going to be doing the next few weeks. It does him no good to tell us or even to decide right now because he probably doesn't know what offer's going to hit the table next.
Very quickly, he was at the Fortnite Pro-Am. Jalen Rose, I know you very well. Please explain to me exactly what Fortnite is.
I know it's a video game.
And?
I saw Karl Anthony Towns playing.
What else happens in the video game?
Ben Simmons.
What happens in the video game? What's it
instead
about?
of going to bed, he stayed up.
What's the plot
and he
to
dropped
Fortnite?
50 in Atlanta.
Explain the plot to Fortnite.
I'm just building blocks.
You're the best.
I'm a one-trick pony. Literally. I show up at kids' parties and act cute. That's pretty much it. So excuse me for being bitter. When Geico says not only could we save you money on car insurance, but we do more. Like give you 24/7 access online, over the phone, or even via our award-winning mobile app. Well, ooh la la. Aren't they multi-talented? Hey, I said organic carrots.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Jalen Rose, it is time to keep it moving.
We be moving, you know we keep it moving.
Jalen Rose, something's going on with Michael Porter Jr. Keep it moving or hit the brakes?
Hit the brakes.
All right. Jalen, Michael Porter Jr. had a workout scheduled for a lot of teams that were in the lottery. He has canceled said workout. Also, there were reports that potentially the Kings were interested in picking him at the number 2 spot. Why did he cancel this workout? What do you think is going on?
Because you hear whispers. He's a versatile upfront prospect that's going to be able to play both positions. He can shoot the 3.
People want to see him.
He can change ends of the floor. You don't want to be working out for too many squads and re-injure yourself. I mean, he missed basically the entire season, came back right before the NCAA tournament. So if your stock is rising, you can't be out there just, you gotta save.
If you had back surgery, I feel like you should get out there and show people that you're 100%.
Not that they're still gonna take me in the top 5.
I guess you're right. Larry Brown is going to be a head coach once again. Keep it moving or hit the brakes. Larry Brown is going to be a head coach, not in the NBA. He's going to be a head coach in Italy for Fiat Torino. Do you expect him to win the championship this year, Mr.
I'm rooting for him.
I don't believe you.
Coach,
you're lying into a microphone right now.
I'm not.
You are lying into a microphone right now.
I am not.
Don't
project no negative energy or thoughts on me.
Oh, I am, because I know you. Remember last time we heard he was going to be a head coach for a high school in the Hamptons or something?
I felt like that was doing too much. But this overseas move, I ain't mad at him at all.
Torino's a very nice place.
Yeah.
It's a very nice lifestyle out there.
Nice retirement
Shout
spot.
out to him. Look for him to gain 20 pounds in this season. The Spanish World Cup team is drawing inspiration from the Michigan Wolverines basketball program. Well, I'm not sure if you know, but the Spanish World Cup team, what they did is they fired their head coach going into the most important tournament in the land, the World Cup. They did so because he committed to coach Real Madrid, and they said, if you're focused on something else, we don't want you anymore. Well, Piqué, one of the most prominent members of the team, tweeted this. This is the translation, obviously. University of Michigan basketball, 1989 NCAA championship. It would not be the first time it happens. All united now more than ever. What he is referring to is right before the tournament, when the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines committed to coach Arizona. They did the same thing. They fired Bill Frieder, and they brought in who?
Steve Fisher.
Steve Fisher. And they did what?
They won the championship with Glenn Rice, Sean Higgins, Terry Mills. They had a squad. I love that team so much. Ramil Robinson.
Does this mean that you're rooting for Spain to win the World Cup?
I am rooting for Spain. They shouted us out, and they're using us as inspiration.
There you go. Next, there are some giant Doritos coming out.
You know, I don't... Keep it moving.
But what?
All right, hit the brakes.
No, we'll keep it moving then. Fine. I thought. Next, a frequent Jalen and Jacoby co-host, friend of the program, great human being, made a viral video yesterday. Keep it moving or hit the brakes. Our man, Amin El Hassan, tried the American Ninja Warrior obstacle course, and let's take a look at how it went for Amin. Here he is, starting, he's smiling, he's pointing. Look at him, confident.
First and foremost, there's water out there, and he's wearing a shirt. That's
going
never
down.
good.
Oh! He didn't make it very far.
Well, he didn't anticipate going very far. That's why he got that shirt on, falling in the water.
Is this ultimately better for him than actually being good at the course?
This is the best thing he's ever done in the NBA.
He's trending. His name's everywhere. He's getting clowned. This was great. If I ever get a chance to do this, I'm definitely throwing it just to ride Amin's coattails. Next, in Missouri, they have a hotel influenza. Well, they'll pay you to get the flu. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Keep it moving. That's stupid.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
A woman got her head stuck in a tailpipe at a music festival.
That'll get me fired. Keep it moving.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
Finally, are you interested in a pickle juice slushie?
Sure. It's that time of year.
What time of year is it appropriate to have a pickle juice slushie?
I used to eat pickles growing up, buy a jar.
We all eat pickles, but I don't want to go to Sonic and have a pickle juice slushie. That is disgusting. There's only one appropriate time to drink pickle juice, and what is that, Mr. Rose?
Hangover.
A pickleback shot. Have you ever had a pickleback shot?
I have, actually.
They're really good.
It's a cognac.
They're really, really good. So earlier this week, Lonzo Ball dropped a diss track about his friend and teammate, Kyle Kuzma. And now, a report from Ramona and Ohm says that the Lakers have spoken to both of them about toning it down. The barbs back and forth. To me, this makes the Lakers look really out of touch. It's like, you know that they're kidding, right? Like, you know this isn't a real problem, right? You know they're good friends. They're just clowning each other. Like, do you really think you need to call these two kids in the principal office and reprimand them for their behavior? It just makes the Lakers look so out of touch. They're like, oh, we're trying to sign some free agents and we don't want to make it seem like there's discord in the locker room. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It really makes them seem very out of touch. Do you think I'm wrong in this read?
Yes.
What? You think so?
I'm going to give you a professional example at the Worldwide Leader. Say you and our brother Max Kellerman decided that y'all wanted to be MCs and y'all wanted to have one of them do a diss track about the other.
Well, I've heard his raps. He would definitely win. So I wouldn't want those problems.
No question about it.
Hypothetically, sure.
And rest in peace to his brother Sam, who had bars.
Bars.
Now, with that being said, you and him might think it's cool to do for public consumption, and it's great that the name of the record is trending. Let me finish.
Jalen.
But when you're an entity, ESPN, you're trying to promote J&J and you're trying to promote First Take. You can't have fans at either one of those shows feeling like y'all ain't seeing eye to eye.
You serious?
I am serious.
You think anyone out there thinks that they have a real beef? Lonzo Ball and Kyle Kuzma? Anyone who knows who they are knows that they're friends and knows they're always clowning each other.
But we don't need, so here's the thing. We don't need shenanigans this summer. We don't need silliness. We don't need sideshows. You know what we need? Stars.
You know who's not a star yet?
That's what we need. Okay. And Magic Johnson came out and said that this is the most important summer in his presidency with the squad because he's opening up 2 maximum contracts. You forgot who they drafted the last couple of years. Let me tell you real quick. Clarkston, Nance, Ingram,
Russell,
Randall, okay, Ball, Kuzma, all productive players in their own right, but not stars.
Well,
that's what we need this
now
summer.
We're
we don't need no
update
side
you on
shows.
an actual real rap beef, not between NBA players. While the world waits for Drake to respond to Pusha T, the world is waiting for Drake to respond to Pusha T. What does he do? He releases something. He released a video for I'm Upset featuring his former friends from Degrassi. Is this a soft move or is this a super Charmin soft move?
You tell me.
This is a soft move. You can't come out with a Degrassi high, little funny video when the world's waiting for you to come out with some bars.
Here's when and why you can do it.
I'm upset.
Jay Prince spoke. I said that on this program. I'm about to order the Triple OG's book.
Hold up. They're in my ear.
You know that Drake is on my no slander list.
They're in my ear.
You know what I'm talking about.
We have a very important update on a very important story right at the end of the show. Do you remember that attempt that we kept updating you on for the world's largest orgy? They attempted to have the world's largest orgy in Las Vegas this weekend. They had a
that's why you can't do the show Friday.
They needed over 500 people to participate. They came short of that. They only had 375 people. They came up short. Jalen Rose, they're going to try again next year in about May, June 1st.
So hold on, I have to say something about this.
Are you going to be there?
This knocks the reputation of Vegas. I would have thought you could get over 300 people to participate in something like this.
You can't get 500 people to get in the room and have sex together?
We got to change the location. I thought what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We need a different state to participate.
We need a different state. Don't forget, if you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail. And if you give Reggie a shout-out because he's petty.
Shout-out.
He'll put it on the show.
Wow.
Just like this.
Wow.
Jalen and Jacoby, what up, though? It's Hundo in Miami. Like to drop a little knowledge on the new Dirty Bastard situation. He's performing at A3C. Are you familiar with all 3 coasts? It's a hip-hop show in Atlanta. He's performing there it's in October. Wheezy, Dipset, and all of Wu-Tang will be there performing this year. So, might have something to do with that. He might be getting on stage and becoming they form like Voltron, so got to have somebody fill in. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, keep getting them checks.
I like these calls that give us new information on a story. So if you don't remember or you didn't listen to yesterday's show, I was upset because Lil Wayne trademarked the term "new dirty bastard."
Upset? You got Old Dirty over your shoulder.
It just felt like he was trying to come up off a name, Old Dirty Bastard. Just like the Wu-Tang legacy is just so pristine and my mind is so important to me that I don't want anyone else to tarnish it. However, Hundo in Miami has some information for us. The A3C show is going to feature Wheezy, Dipset, and Wu-Tang, and perhaps he's trademarking this because he's going to be taking the place of the Old Dirty Bastard during the Wu-Tang performance. If this does happen, I will take back all of my words I had for Wayne yesterday. If this is just a coincidence, I'll double down.
Oh, it definitely can't be a coincidence. That's why I alluded to it yesterday because, as you mentioned, it's so iconic. And he's been in the industry so long, he's conscious of moves like that and how it can draw the ire of fans like yourself. But who you say is going to be at that show again?
Dipset, Wheezy, and Wu-Tang.
Oh, I'm going.
You're not going.
Why not?
Atlanta? Oh yeah. I can see you there.
Huh?
Will you go to Waffle House Strip Club and then the show, or the show, Strip Club, and then Waffle House?
Whatever order, just understand that's the Holy Trinity.
I'm going to say it again.
That has a term.
I'm going to say it again just to end the show. Waffle House is overrated. I'm going to say it again. It's overrated.
I'm glad you brought this back
up. It's
up.
Overrated.
So
you go ahead and at me. I don't even care.
No, I'm glad you brought this back up. For those that have heard me speak into a microphone before, you understand that I pride myself on being socially and politically conscious. Mm-hmm. And I was not in any way, shape, or form ignoring the issues that the Waffle House is dealing with, because I have followed that closely as well. And I'm not proud of what I've seen taking place in a couple of different instances as it related to Waffle House restaurants.
Food's overrated.
When I was talking about the Waffle House's food, that was accurate.
It's overrated. It's a diner. It's a mediocre diner.
You don't
with
judge.
A good name.
Don't judge it at. First off, don't
Whenever
judge
I go
it.
there, I don't see anyone eating waffles. I'll tell you that much. You ever ate a waffle at Waffle House?
Yes. Don't judge it at 2 p.m. Judge it at 2 a.m.
I ain't gonna be there at 2 a.m. Maybe if I was in Atlanta.
If you was in Atlanta,
I was out of town,
that's why it's regional.
Well,
Atlanta's one of those places you take a nap before you go out.
Overrated Waffle House. Real quick, Jalen, Canelo and Triple G having the rematch set for September 15th. This was a great fight. It was a draw. Two of the best fighters in the game right now. But for some reason, I'm not as excited because of the PED stuff. It got me a little tarnished.
Well, people don't care as much about PEDs in football and boxing. You're just a sports purist and you're looking at Canelo some type of way.
I am.
Because he got caught cheating.
He cheated.
I know.
It was the cows. Like, no, it wasn't.
I know.
No, it wasn't.
What it does for me, really, it just gives me a heightened level of respect for Triple G. And it just acknowledges one thing for people that ain't been paying attention. The sweet science is back, baby.
It kind of is.
The sweet science
Heavyweights
is back.
Terrence Crawford.
No question. No doubt. Shout out to Terrence Crawford, who came through and gave us some love on our program. Hopefully one day he and Errol Spence will get in the ring. We got Anthony Joshua and Wilder going to get into the ring.
Lomachenko.
Come on, man. And now we got Triple G and Canelo. The sweet science is back. You know the last two stories that I talked about on television as it related to the UFC?
Conor McGregor going to court, and I don't even want to mention his name, getting a contract.
Okay. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, those are trends. And I remember I saw this when Chris Paul was going down the escalator and Steph Curry was going up the escalator. What did I look to you and say?
If that was me, I'd be going up the escalator.
I'd be like, we got to stop this shoot.
Yeah, with no escalator.
We got to stop this shoot right now.
We can walk by each other in the hallway, but we can't be doing this escalator thing. And look, it totally came to fruition, too. Those are the little nuggets that you're going to get when you listen to Jalen and Jacoby. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back tomorrow because it's Friday, and we'll never leave you without a dope pod to step to. Why?
We're not done. We're not done. Got to give the people time. Give people what they want.
They're my little guys. I love them.